getting near dawn. When lights close the tired eyes, I'll soon be with you, my love. Give you my dawn surprise. I'll be with you, darling, soon. I'll be with you when the stars start falling. I've been waiting so long.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. My name is Bill Orlov. I'm in M&C, Marketing Communications for FPL. If you could please all take your seats. We're about to get started in 2 minutes. Thank you.
I'm with you, my love. The light shining through on you. Yes, I'm with you, my love. It's the morning and just we two. I'll stay with you, darling, now. I'll stay with you till my seas are dried up. I've been waiting so long to be where I'm going, in the sunshine of your love. I'm with you, my love. The light shining through on you. Yes, I'm with you, my love. It's the morning and just we two. I'll stay with you, darling, now. I'll stay with you till my seas are dried up. I've been waiting so long. I've been waiting so long. I've been waiting so long to be where I'm going, in the sunshine of your love. Had enough of heartbreaking pain. I had a little sweet spot for the rain, for the rain and skies of gray. Hello, sunshine, won't you stay?
Good morning, everyone. If I could get you to take your seats. Good morning, everybody. It is great to see so many people here, actually in person. Thank you so much for coming. I'm Pam Roush. I'm Vice President of External Affairs and Economic Development for Florida Power and Light, and welcome. Today is going to be super exciting. I want to extend a warm welcome to all of you, and I also want to welcome many elected officials and local business leaders who are here today. So I'm going to call some names. Please hold your applause till I read the list. Senator Gail Harrell and State Representative John Snyder. From Martin County, Commissioners Ed Campy, Stacey Hetherington, Harold Jenkins, and Doug Smith. Property Appraiser Jenny Fields. School Board Chairperson Marcia Powers. School Superintendent John Millay. And from Indiantown, Mayor Janet Hernandez, Councilwoman Jackie Clark, Councilman Anthony Dowling, Councilman Guyton Stone, Councilwoman Susan Gibbs Thomas, and Village Manager Howard Brown. Thank you all for being here today and to actually witness the demolition of FPL's last coal-fired generating plant here in Florida. That is something to celebrate. You know, before I really get started today, I want to acknowledge that many of you have worked with our External Affairs Representative, Kate Kottner, and she's here with us today. She is flourishing at FPL, and she is growing her career and has been offered a wonderful opportunity in our law department using her legal skills. So we want to wish her well, and we also want to welcome new area manager from FPL, Marshall Critchfield, who's here today. So please make sure you introduce yourselves. We're going to make sure Kate works on our legal work, so she's not going very far. You know, FPL is committed to providing energy that is affordable, reliable, and better for the environment. But, of course, safety comes first in everything that we do. So I'd now like to introduce Ali Esposito from our power generation team, who will provide us with a safety briefing for today's event.
Thank you, Pam, and good morning, everyone. As Pam said, I'm Ali Esposito, Principal Safety Specialist in the Power Generation Division. At FPL, safety is our most important value. So let's kick things off with a quick safety briefing. In an abundance of caution, we have placed each of the seats with about 3 feet of distance in between each one of them. We thank you for following social distancing guidelines to ensure the safety and health of everyone on site today. Face coverings are available for anyone who has not received the COVID-19 vaccination yet. Please reach out to any FPL team member for assistance. Our distance from the demolition site exceeds all safety standards. However, we have provided you with hearing protection, face protection, and eye protection should you choose to wear it. Please be careful as you're walking through the site today. You may see that there's uneven terrain, so please watch your step. Please stay hydrated and be mindful of the heat. We have provided refreshments and bottled water should you choose to use them. And finally, if there's a medical emergency for any of our guests today, EMTs and fire rescue are on site. I thank you for your attention this morning.
Thank you, Ali. You know, for more than 20 years, FPL has been modernizing its power generation fleet through smart, consistent, long-term investments in cleaner, state-of-the-art energy centers operating on American-made natural gas and solar energy. As a result, FPL is recognized as one of the leaders in the country, as one of the cleanest in the country, cleanest electric utilities. Now, I've been privileged to attend a number of these demolition events, and I can tell you that it's very exciting. So I think you'll be glad you're here today. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Emma Floyd, who will sing our national anthem. Emma is a talented young vocalist from the Boys and Girls Club of Martin County. And then after Emma's performance, I'll ask you to stand and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Also joining us this morning is Sister Mary Dooley from the Kindu Family Center. She's agreed to provide the invocation this morning and some remarks. And as most of you are likely aware, the Kindu Center opened its doors in October of 2015. The center's goal is to empower families to learn life skills that will enable them to achieve a better life. The center was a dream shared by both Sister Mary Dooley and Sister Kate Canali. And the center has helped so many immigrants from places like Guatemala, Haiti, Mexico, and so many others. Please help me welcome Sister Mary.
Good morning. I am humbled and honored to offer the prayer of gratitude and hope this morning for the special event. It's just amazing, isn't it? And how grateful we are for all that Florida Power and Light has done here in Florida. They certainly have shed light on the environmental issues affecting our community, our country, and our world, and have taken creative and energy-saving actions to right the wrongs. On a personal note, I was privileged to be the director at Hope Rural School when FPL was opening Martin Next Generation Solar Plant. They called with a request to have our children come to the opening ceremony and turn the switch. Having children pull the switch and be present for the ceremony spoke volumes about FPL's recognition of who would be benefiting the most from this solar plant action, the next generation. We were definitely standing on holy ground that day, but it also shed light on the most vulnerable of our society, our children. Fast forward to October of 2015, when Sister Kate and I opened Kindu Family Center in Booker Park. The building was old and needed some renovation. Particularly in need was the lighting in the large room designated to be the sewing room. Coming to our rescue, FPL sent a team of workers to do an energy makeover. I never heard of an energy makeover till that day. An energy makeover, and replaced all the lighting in the large sewing room. Thanks to their efforts, the room is bright. The women have no excuse not to thread the needle. And more importantly, it's energy efficient. Again, focusing on those most in need. During the pandemic this year, FPL reached out with a sponsorship to help us in our time of need. And as I thought about the pandemic and how we honored and treasured our first responders who put their lives on the line, I thought about FPL. They are always there in our time of need, storms, hurricanes, and disasters. They are our first responders. When Francis and Jean hit, there was no greater joy than to see an FPL truck come down the road. We knew help was on the way. When we are running away from storms, hurricanes, and disasters, they and their trucks are running towards the disaster. So today, we salute you, FPL, not only for working diligently on environmental issues, but also for shedding light on our local community needs and helping those most in need of your care and compassion. Thank you for witnessing to the ideal that we are all created equal by your caring, affirming, respecting, and empowering ways. May God continue to shed his power and light upon you so that you in turn may continue to bless the earth and the community with your power and light. Thank you. Gracias. Merci. And you may remain seated for the prayer. So let us pray. Creator God, source of all power and light, we come before you this morning with hearts full of gratitude for the amazing blessing that will take place in this site, the end of the last coal-fired plant in Florida, bringing Florida Power and Light one step further in their clean energy journey. They have shown their care for the earth as they continue to look for ways to provide clean, affordable, reliable energy. As we look around our world today, we see that all of creation is begging for an end to the pollution and destruction that has attacked nature and all of life. Forgive us our indifference, our greed, carelessness, and skepticism. Give us the grace to feel profoundly joined to everything that is. Show us our place in the world as channels of your love for all the creatures of the earth. None of us owns this earth, yet we are all stakeholders and shareholders in its care. As Pope Francis says, we must all care for our common home. Our deepest desire is for the time when the birds of the air, the fish of the sea, the animals, plants, trees, and all creation will rise up and say thank you for giving them back their beauty, their very lives. Oh God, fill us with your power and light. Help us to protect all life and build a future filled with justice, peace, love, and beauty. We pray that one day we will be able to look into the eyes of our brothers and sisters and all beings and truthfully say, we are doing our part to care for them and the future of our children. Bring us to the day when we will hear the same words that you spoke at the beginning of creation. You looked at all you had made and said, it is good. As you look at our efforts, decisions, and hard work to bring your creation back to its beautiful beginnings, as we work together to renew the face of our precious earth, we pray you will utter those same words. It is good. It is good. Please join me in a resounding amen to that prayer. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Mary, for everything you do for this Indiantown community. It's really organizations like yours and the Boys and Girls Club and others that really enrich the lives of our neighbors and friends. You know, and FPL is so proud to support you and the organizations in Indiantown. So thank you for your partnership. Let's give her a round of applause again. Okay, so our next speaker is someone who has really spent years, many years, advancing the affordable, reliable, clean energy story in Florida. And there is really no one more in our company who has driven FPL's energy policy than our president and CEO, Eric Solagi. So please give him a warm welcome. Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Pam. And first off, I want to echo and say it's so nice to actually see everybody in person. You know, we're a company that prides ourselves on innovation and technology, and I'm sure we could have figured out a way to do this via Zoom, but thankfully we don't have to. So thanks for being here. Thanks for making the effort to come out and to witness this great event. It really is only possible as a team effort, and so many of you here have played an important role in this. Sister Mary, I just want to take a moment to say thank you for your very kind comments. You know, I am blessed to be part of a team that is truly exceptional, and they love what they do, and you know, they do run towards the danger when it's coming without any expectation of thanks or praise. But it is awfully nice to hear somebody else say that, to say thank you to the team. It means a lot to be recognized for that. So thank you for your kind words. And as Pam said, thank you for all you do in the community. It really is a team effort that we all work together in our communities to make them better places to live for today and for future generations. And that's really what today is all about, because this has been a journey, a long journey of really trying to enter into a next phase of how we end up serving our customers and serving our community, serving our state, and frankly, setting an example for the rest of the country and the rest of the world. Now, part of this journey has been taking coal plants that we've had in our fleet for a long time, or power that we got from coal plants that others own, and taking them out of service because we're able to save customers money. And part of that strategy, if you will, this clean energy strategy, was getting coal out of our system. So we went around and we actually bought up some coal plants. And as you can see from some of these headlines, I imagine a few of you, when you first saw these, thought, what on earth is FPL doing? I can tell you we had a few investors that said, what on earth are you doing buying coal plants? But we had to explain it. I had to spend a little bit of quality time with people for them to understand that actually by buying the plants and the contracts that we are obligated to purchase electricity from, which, by the way, when they were entered into back in the 1970s, 1980s, they made a lot of sense at the time. And, you know, it was technology. This plant was built with the best of intentions, using the best technology at the time, and it served customers really well. But we came to the conclusion that there was a way to do it even better. As technology has advanced, as thinking has advanced, our knowledge of what the impacts are, both environmental and economic, have advanced. We have come to conclusions that said we could do this better. And rather than being afraid of change, like Sister Mary talked about the storms, we kind of ran towards it and said, you know, we're going to embrace this, and we're going to figure out ways to do this differently. So I am very proud of the fact that as part of that, we ended up buying out this plant, buying out the contract, and at midnight on December 31st of last year, New Year's Eve, this plant was officially retired, and the last coal plant in Florida, FPL's fleet in Florida, no longer was producing electricity or emissions. Something I am very proud of. Like I said, it's been a long journey to get there, but it's not a journey that just started with this plant. It's been something that we've actually been working on across our entire fleet for quite some time. Pam talked about it, actually for decades. And a lot of plants across our fleet have been modernized. So you will see, so we can get this going here, this slide. Could you guys advance the slide for me? So there you go. Many of you will actually recognize this picture. This was actually our Riviera Beach facility coming down that was built in the 1960s. And when it was built again in the 1960s, you know, this technology was cutting edge. We burned oil to generate electricity in big boilers, kind of like the big water heaters that you have in your home, some have in your home. And we used to generate electricity, and it served well customers for nearly 50 years. But we had a vision, and that vision was, you know what, we could take new technology, combined cycle natural gas fired technology that really was developed in the 1980s. And matter of fact, the very first GE gas turbines ever deployed in the United States right here in Martin. All right? And we deployed new technology and tore down this old plant, which saves customers, all of you, a lot of money because it burns a lot less fuel and it creates a lot less emissions. All right, so think about, it's like modernizing the car in your driveway. This plant was built in the 1960s. Think about that 1962 Cadillac. I'm a gearhead. I love cars, anything with an engine. Big car, big fins, right? Big engine, big trunk. You could put all your friends and a lot of beer in the trunk if you wanted to, right? Great car. But what you really want to do is not drive it anymore because it's not the most fuel efficient. What we did is we blew it up. Hopefully you parked the 1962 Cadillac and enjoy a view and replace it with like a Ford Fusion as an example, right? A hybrid that burns a lot less fuel and costs a lot less to run. That's what we did with all of our fleet across the entire system. And the end result has been tremendous. You go to the next slide, please. The end result has now allowed us to go from a utility that used to burn more oil than anybody in America to generate electricity. Not too long ago, 20 years ago, we burned more oil than anybody in America to generate electricity, 40 million barrels. And by the way, not a lick of that oil came from the United States. It was all imported. From places around the world, if we're going to be really honest, that aren't necessarily the best friend of America. And unfortunately even support people who hate America. And we were sending billions of dollars a year of our hard-earned money to go buy oil from those places and bring it in and burning it in those power plants. And we said enough is enough. We could do better. So we tore the plants down. We modernized the plants. Next slide, please. And we've gone now from a company that burned more oil than anybody in America to burning almost none. 99% reduction in 20 years. And by the way, nobody asked us to do that. Nobody ordered us to do that. There was no state mandate. There was no federal mandate. We did it on our own. In fact, a number of people weren't really happy with us doing it for a variety of reasons. I heard all the excuses. Don't tear down that old plant. It's paid for. Don't tear down that old plant. We know how it operates. That new technology, we're not sure how that's going to work. Right? Don't tear down that plant. The economy is doing great. We don't need to do anything. The economy's not doing so great. Now's not the right time. I remember that argument in 2009 and 10 when we were doing Canaveral. By the way, the best time to build a new power plant is when the economy's in the dumps. We saved $100 million on that plant, and the construction crews were thrilled to have a job. The economy's just recovering. Don't do it. The economy's doing great again. Don't do it. Heard excuse after excuse, but we know what? We never stopped. We kept going. And now we burn almost no oil whatsoever. Matter of fact, we burn a little bit of diesel because we're required to burn it to prove that we can burn it in case we have to burn it for an emergency. Otherwise, we don't. And we've reduced our emissions profile materially because of that. We're now one of the cleanest electric utilities in America because we've been doing this now for 20 years. It's been a march. But it's also saved all of you and all of our customers a lot of money. $11 billion is what we haven't spent in fuel that we would have bought had we kept the old plants. Strictly because of we'd have been running that old 1962 Caddy and burning all that gas, miles per gallon. That's all that 11 billion represents. Just the difference in fuel that we didn't buy because these plants are so much more efficient. That's $11 billion that stayed in your pockets, in our customers' pockets throughout Florida. It's $11 billion that stayed in Florida's economy. It's $11 billion that helped Florida be more successful. I'm really, really proud of that. And you should all be proud of that because, frankly, we couldn't have done it without all of you. This is a community effort. And if you don't have the support, ultimately, you can't get this done. We still have to ask permission every time we do this up in Tallahassee. And so your support is critically important. Your vocal support on these makes a difference. And I thank you for that. And we had not had that, we wouldn't have been able to do the next step, and that's build solar. We have now embarked on the largest solar energy build in America by far. I think in the world. Others don't report what they're doing, but I don't think anybody's building more than we are. We've announced 30 million panels by 2030 installed in Florida. And I am proud to tell you today we are ahead of schedule. We have commissioned 40 new solar facilities across the state so far. And these are not small, by the way. These are sites that cover 500 acres that have 300,000 panels. And they make a difference for people every single day. When the sun comes out, we're generating electricity. We're using no water. We're producing no emissions. And we're able to provide our customers with reliable energy whenever they need it. But again, this is a march. This is not a sprint. We have embraced this technology, and we're going to continue to advance the technology so we can make sure that Florida's economy is humming. We are now a $1.1 trillion economy in Florida, and our obligation as FPL is to make sure that Florida continues to grow. And we can make sure that our young men and women who are coming out of school have good jobs, and we can end up helping them be successful in a state where it is a great place to live. Look, we are blessed in Florida with having growth. About 900 people a day are moving here, but that means you actually have to make sure you're managing that growth successfully. That makes a big, big difference for all of us. And the other thing is we have an economy that largely turns still on tourism. 1 in 8 jobs is tied to tourism in Florida. That's why being clean is also very important. Yes, it's the right thing to do for future generations, and I'll talk about that, but it's also the right thing to do for business and economics for the state of Florida. 1 in 8 jobs is tied to tourism. Most people work their entire year to save up for that vacation. For the last year and a half, everybody's been trying to figure out how the heck to get out of the house to go on vacation. So they're coming. But look, if you've worked all year long to save up for that vacation, you decide you're going to come to Florida, and you're on final approach into West Palm, right, into PBI, or you're going to Orlando to take the kids to Disney World, and you penetrate a smog bank on final approach, or you go to the beach and get tar on your feet, or go swim in the water and it's not really very nice, you're not coming back. And if that happens, we're all in trouble, folks, because the economy will go in the tank. The reason that you and I don't pay a state income tax is because of tourism. Being clean is smart business. People work their whole lives in other parts of the country, in not so pretty places in some cases, so they have an option, a choice to retire somewhere beautiful and with low taxes. They have a choice. If they can't breathe the air, they're not coming here. We have an obligation to make sure that we're doing the right thing, not just for today and for the economy, but also, as Sister Mary said, for our future generations, most importantly, for our children, for their children. The decisions we make today will impact them much more than they're going to impact us. The investments that we make at FPL last 30, 40, 50, 60, sometimes close to 80 years. It's really incumbent upon all of us to be very thoughtful. I want our children to look back on today and think, you know what? They really did the right thing. I've got a 19-year-old. I don't want him to inherit a mess that he has to fix because we just took the easy way out. This is not easy to do, but it is doable. Being clean and being affordable and being reliable, you can do it. We've proven it. I'm very, very proud of that. But it does take a team effort. It does take all of us working together on this and not being afraid to embrace change. That's why we're looking at other new technologies as well, like green hydrogen. I am so excited about the opportunities. We're starting a new pilot program on that, and we're going to make sure, if at all possible, that we can then expand that across our fleet, which will make sure that then we're producing zero emissions energy at our gas plants, with water being the byproduct. If we can make that work, that is another game changer. But look, today is about ending one era, and I'm very, very happy to announce ushering in a new era. So, along with taking down the plant today in a few minutes, which we're going to do, I am really pleased to announce that we are going to start construction just over that tree line there of FPL's newest solar energy center, a 75 megawatt, 300,000 panels covering about 500 acres solar energy facility right here in Martin County, where we're going to be making another $100 million investment to make sure that we produce affordable, green, clean energy every day. And we're going to be using everything we can from this old site to make sure that we can get that power then right onto the grid and take it out to customers across our territory. It's a really good example of how you take the old and you bring in the new, and you, talk about taking down the old. Here we go. So that's that's kind of our 2-minute warning, if you will. All right, 2-minute buzzer. So we're getting close to crossing into the end zone on this. But, it's a really good example of how by working together and, frankly, having the support locally as well as from our state regulators and our stakeholders and legislators in Tallahassee, that you can really make a difference. There are people across the country, particularly in our industry, who will say you cannot be clean and affordable. You cannot be clean and reliable. It's one or the other. And I say bull. We have proven that is not the case. FPL has now bills that are 30% below the national average, among the lowest in the country. Our reliability is #1 in America. We are not done. There is still a lot more to do. But we also have among the cleanest fleet and emissions in the country. And again, we are not done. We are just beginning. Because future generations, they deserve that. Future generations should, and I think they are kind of demanding it. But we have an obligation to do what's right for today and for tomorrow. And that's why we're going to end up starting with taking down this plant. So that's the next set of warnings. We're getting ready to start a countdown here. I'm going to bring us down into the like a space shuttle launch, the old shuttle launches into a countdown. But again, I'm going to close by saying thank you, because we're here today because of the support we've had from all of you. And it does take a team. I'm blessed to work with a team of folks that are the best in the business, that aren't afraid of change either. And going forward, with your help, we'll continue to innovate. We'll continue to make a difference. And I think we'll continue to do things that future generations will look back and be proud of, that our children can be proud of, our grandchildren can be proud of, and we'll remember today as a first step in a long march to cleaner energy. So let's count it down. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
What'd you think? I told you it was fun. Thank you all for being here. We have refreshments. We hope you'll be with us when we actually have the ribbon cutting for the Village Solar Energy Center. Have a great day.
The heart is a balloon, shoots up through the stony ground. There's no room, no space to rent in this town. You're out of luck, and the reason that you had to care, the traffic is stuck.